got water in your boots?
Well, it's filled with water.
And why did you fall? So I just rolled into this yard. I need 17 splits, and I've got 1, 2, 3 hives that are into 4 boxes. Those 4 boxers will give me 2 splits apiece. And I think I've got 4 or 5 more hives that are into 4 boxes in another yard. So we're gonna have to start pulling some single box splits out of some of these 3s. Any of the 3s that are big. Gotta have 17 splits. The activity in this yard is just incredible. It's 12:30. They've got to be on some kind of a flow. Seeing drones coming and going, so we're good to breed some queens tomorrow. I see some pollen coming in, some henbit dead nettle, but there's a lot of bees coming in that don't have pollen, so they've got to be on some kind of a flow. Man, this is good. This is one of the single deeps I got from Bob. Put a drawn medium of very crusty, dirty comb in there, and looks like they're working 2 frames of it pretty well, so I just fed them another gallon of syrup, and we'll close them up and let them grow. I'm hoping I'll be able to split them in 3 to 4 weeks. Definitely not 2. They need another brood cycle, maybe 2, before I'll get anything out of them. Contrast that hive that I'm hoping to split in 3 or 4 weeks to this one. They're working almost all these, and we've got 1, 2, 3 capped brood frames up here, maybe 4. I could probably pull a split out of there now, but I need splits next week. I need splits in 8 days, so I think we'll save them until then. Well, it was bound to happen at some point, and it did. I was just about to pull some splits out of here. I've got a capped queen cell, so we're going to bust this hive up to pieces. I'll go through this hive and see how many cells we've got, and I'm going to split it up with double screen boards. I don't want to lose a swarm, and they're close to it. That looks like a bee condo right there. It's ridiculous. I'm fiddling around with this too much, wasting time. I've got a lot of work to get done. I need to be more efficient, but I've got a bunch of empty comb down here in the bottom. I took almost all of their brood away, shook the queen down, so she shouldn't be up in the top. She could be in one of these 2 boxes, which would be okay. This box has got 6 frames of brood, 2 frames of food that I stole from that hive. So bees will come through and cover that. I'll come back tomorrow and pull that off as 2 splits. And then this box has got a couple of queen cells. This box has got a couple of queen cells. That's on a double screen so they can stay warm. And then this one has got an entrance around the front. That's tall enough above the bottom entrance that they'll orient up here. And I'll get some sticks and plug these entrances off, narrow them down a lot, because those are pretty weak, and I don't want there to be any robbing. If they start robbing those little nukes, then they're done. They are absolutely done. I didn't know if this little nuke was going to make it. They were like 2 frames of bees, so I boosted them with 1 brood frame, fed them maybe once or twice, kind of forgot about them. And now, if I wasn't here today to get a box on them, in 1 to 2 weeks, they'd be trying to swarm. They'll make a honey crop. Pretty good outcome there. Beekeeper's most valuable asset behind the bees may be boxes of drawn comb. I've got 32 left. 34, I've got 2 on the trailer already. That's it. Once that's done, I'm into foundation. Well, Corey Stevens, I'd say that I'm definitely going to have some of your genetics in my bees this year. There's a drone chewing out there. There's a lot of drones in this hive already. This one's got 2 drone combs in it. So I've got the splits that I need. I've got 38 queen cells. Need 38 splits. That's the last one there. So now I'm just doing normal stuff. This hive was a little weak. That one was pretty strong. This one was really strong. That's gonna be a breeder queen. I really do like her. And so what I did, I pulled 3 brood frames out of this one, added a 4th of drawn comb. I should slow them down a little bit. They'll still need to be split, I think. Added 3 brood frames to that one. Same deal with this one, it was getting too big. Pulled 2 brood frames out of it, added a 4th of drawn comb. I added a 3rd of drawn comb to this hive and gave it 2 brood frames. This is a nuke I made last year. They probably need to be split right now. They're nearly covering this whole box in the top. I added that box 20 days ago, or 22 days ago. That's it's pretty big. I'm gonna have to give them a 4th to hold them. Long day. I had 3 nukes on double screen boards that overwintered on a double screen, and they're just in the way. So I got them moved. This one's gonna requeen this colony. And this one over here is big enough. I've shown this hive 2 or 3 times. They were a cluster like that big, just barely survived the -10 Fahrenheit that we had. And I boosted them with a couple of brood frames, and they're big enough. They needed a second box. They'll make honey this year. Long day. Split day. First couple of splits down. A lot more to go. So I'm still making splits. I've got some visitors. You're making nukes like this, the bees will find every little defect in your equipment. Come on, get out. Tape's a good thing to have. Last year I had what I thought was going to be a really good spot for a permanent nuke yard, but it was going to take too much work to get into it, to get access to it and get it in shape. It's in a overgrown field, hadn't been bush hogged in a couple of years, and access was really bad. So I punted on that last year, but over the winter I did the work to get it set up. So I'll show you guys my new nuke yard, mating yard. Getting access out here is pretty tough. There was basically a 90-degree turn directly off of this farm lane. So the first thing I had to do was to tear out a section of fence. This was grown up, sapling stobs after I bush hogged, so I had to cut all those so I wouldn't puncture a tire. And the access to the back over here, there's a gully that I can't get through with a trailer. The trailer would hang. And then there's this old homestead here blocking access on the level. So I had to push up part of this old homestead. I'm probably driving through their kitchen to get back here. Then I've got this nice little ridge here. So I mowed all the way around there, and I can set hives out all through there, and I can expand it. I think this mating yard will work really well. The criteria for this mating yard are not the same that I look for in my regular yards. what I'm looking for here is its own family property, so I can do with it as I please. If I want to spray glyphosate, kill weeds, mow, do whatever I want, it's not a problem. And I can leave the bees here as long as I want to. Access is not that good, but the key is this is surrounded on all 4 points of the compass with my drone flooding yards. It's centralized to that. So that's what I mean when I say the location is really good. It's also sheltered. Wind will be blocked by all these surrounding trees. In a regular yard, I look for full sun with a northern windbreak, southern exposure. Here, I want a windbreak all around so that the queens will be able to get out and get back. I think this will work really well. Just stepped out of the truck. And I see my first snake of the year. I believe that's a eastern king snake. Which means there probably won't be any copperheads around here, because he's pretty good size. He could eat one. I just pulled a full 10 medium frame split out of that colony. I need to give him a super. Good grief. I'm gonna be out of equipment soon. I'll be out of draw and comb in a week, I bet. Maybe sooner. Wish I had more draw and comb. Something I can't do anything about right now. So I'll walk you through my workflow real quick. Hive with the excluder on the top. I just pulled a 10 frame split off of the top of it. Walk it over here where I had 2 bottom boards sitting side by side. I had a super with a couple of foundations in it and a 2 frame feeder. That leaves some room to get 5 frames in there out of this box. Set this box down here, scoot it up so that bees can't get out. Got to check that on all of them, and they'll still get out a little bit, but not much. So I move the 5 frames over, go ahead and get a lid on it. And then the way I organize this is I like to have my feeder on the same side on every box, always. I put a foundation right next to that in case the drawn frame has any discrepancy at all. I don't smush it. Put the foundation next to the feeder, and then they can draw it out to fit. And then I put my 5 frames and then 2 more foundations. Get the lid on it and move on to the next one. I'm using these little cell protectors. The double pronged ones are the ones to get. The single prongs aren't big enough to fit a good sized cell. Only reason I'm using those is because some of these colonies, some of these little nukes don't even know they're queenless yet. The ones I moved early this morning probably would be fine with an open, unprotected cell, but I'm just not going to take any chances on them chewing it out. Ran out of feed on that one, so I'll have to come back and feed these other ones. Most of them have settled down pretty nicely. As you can see, some of them have caught some drift. I've got another one down here that's kind of the same. I'm wondering if I've got a queen in those or something, or if it's just random. I don't know why they're doing that. 8 more to go. I had a 14-hour day yesterday. Probably shouldn't have done that because I've just done a 6.5-hour day today with these nukes. And I'm wiped. All those queens are out or installed. Cells are installed. I'll come back tomorrow and feed the ones that I didn't feed today. Glad this is done. It's one step closer. I think I'm gonna have 5 rounds this year. I love going through nukes and looking for queens and marking them and stuff, but the actual making of the nukes, that's work. That's almost as bad as extracting honey. It's a job. so in my opinion, it's better to just cut your losses. But I'll make sure.
Can I hold it, Daddy? I want to hold it.
Do have a, I can't tell if that's a larvae or what. Here, hold it. There you go.
I'm taking a video of you, Maddie Kate.
I thought you were taking a picture, Mom.
You didn't know you could ID a queenless hive by the sound, did you?
I've heard you say that before.
I got one on me. Hey, little bee. Mama, I have one on me.
Yeah, you've got two on you.
What? Is there one on me?
Right here. Right here on your glove. Look on this hand, baby.
Where?
Yeah, they've gone lane
On
work.
top of your glove. And tell us what that means, Daddy.
On me, Daddy.
If the workers are without queen pheromone and brood pheromone for a long time, then the ovaries in some of the worker bees will actually develop to the point that they can lay eggs, but they can only lay unfertilized eggs, which become drones.
Bee on me.
So a laying worker colony, that's like the last gasp before death for the colony to try to get its genes out into the gene pool by producing a bunch of drones. So it's a dead colony. It's like a zombie.
I have
And
They're
two more
walking
on
dead.
me.
and that's typically the sound you hear.
Mama, look.
Well, it just sounded like a queenless roar when I opened them up. Sometimes they'll do that if they're smoke sensitive and you smoke them real hard. But most of the time when you hear that roar, it's a queenless colony.
So we may end up combining these with
Oh, we will.
a different
There's another one.
Yeah,
colony.
I've got to go back through this. Like this colony, I pulled 2 splits off of yesterday. Today's the 31st. Yeah, I pulled 2 splits off yesterday, and they're going to need a super. So we may as well go ahead and give them this super now, and then give another colony the other super. I like to put laying worker colonies on big, healthy hives, because they will sort this out. If you combine this with a real weak nuke, it can create some problems.
Natty Kate, you want to help? You big helper. Good job.